All right. Well, good evening, everyone. It's 6:10. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Rensselaer County Legislature. This is our presentation portion of the evening. We have several folks to recognize tonight and a few folks that we'd like to memorialize. So our first resolution is G16222. This is a resolution commending Staff Sergeant Jessica Cruz for being named Airman of the Year. This is a presentation by legislators Harrington, Casal, and Maloney. And we'd also like to invite her to come down on the floor, along with PJ Higgett, who is also here from the Sheriff's Department. So please come on down. Thank you. We understand Sheriff Russo is on vacation, so our esteemed Undersheriff is here to celebrate with us tonight, so thank you. And they're our Chief of Corrections.
As chairman of the Veterans Committee, it's my honor to present this copy of this resolution on behalf of the entire body. This resolution commending Staff Sergeant Jessica Cruz for being named Airman of the Year, and I'll read it. Whereas it is consistent with the duties of this legislative body to recognize the achievements of the citizens of Rensselaer County, we acknowledge with respect and admiration individuals whose bravery and dedication have been so valuable to our community. And whereas Staff Sergeant Jessica Lee Cruz has been selected to receive the Airman of the Year award in the 5,900-member New York Air National Guard. And whereas Jessica was selected as the Airman of the Year at her 109th Airlift Wing at the Stratton Air National Guard Base in Scotia before she became eligible for statewide competition. And whereas the Airman of the Year award recognizes airmen who exhibit outstanding leadership abilities, job performance, and personal achievement during the competition completion year and is chosen by a board which evaluates candidates from the New York Air National Guard, 5 flying wings, and its Eastern Air Defense Sector. Whereas Jessica is a transportation specialist responsible for processing passengers and baggage aboard all Department of Defense and civilian-owned aircraft in accordance with all applicable Air Force rules and regulations. And whereas since joining the New York Air National Guard in 2017, Jessica has volunteered for a deployment to Ali Al Salem Air Base, Kuwait, where she built pallets and checked in more than 2,700 tons of cargo. She has been deployed to Greenland to provide support for the National Science Foundation, where she moved over 141,000 tons of cargo and processed 133 passengers for 33 missions. Jessica also volunteered to be part of the Operation Ali's Welcome, a mission to provide services to Afghans evacuated by the United States prior to the Taliban takeover of that country, and has deployed to joint-based McGuire-Dix Lakehurst in support of that mission. And whereas Jessica has also earned an Air Force Achievement Medal, a Humanitarian Service Medal, and the Armed Forces Medal. And whereas Jessica is currently serving on the New York National Guard's COVID-19 response mission, and whereas in civilian life, Jessica resides in Troy with her daughter and is a Rensselaer County Corrections Officer, and now therefore be it resolved that this legislative body does hereby acknowledge the sacrifices Staff Sergeant Jessica Cruz and her family have made and continue to make for the ideals which this nation stands, fully confident that her achievements and contributions will live on and serve as a legacy for all. And be it further that resolved that the clerk of this legislature is hereby directed to transmit a copy of this resolution suitably engrossed to Staff Sergeant Jessica Cruz. As a veteran and someone who has served, it makes me feel great to have one of our people here achieve such an honor at such young an age. You got a long ways to go. So Jessica, here is your a copy, and PJ, want to say a few words?
Real quickly.
All right.
Just real quick, Jessica is an example of the type of professionals that we have at the Sheriff's Department. We actually have numerous members that both serve in the military and either are deputies or corrections officers. And on a personal note, as a vet, I'm proud of Jessica, and the rest of us at the department are proud of her. Great job.
I didn't plan on saying anything, but I really want to let everybody know that I do appreciate it, taking the time, because you don't realize when you're doing all these things that anybody notices, you know? So I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, next we have Resolution P 16522. This is a resolution commending communication officers Marcy Pfeiffer and Jessica Large for their heroic and life-saving actions. Marcy and Jessica, are you here? And we'd also like to invite legislators Grant and Maloney and anybody else who would like to come down and do this presentation as well. Family, friends, you want to come down here to take pictures, please feel free. Sure, come on down.
Welcome, ladies. Okay, this is a resolution commending communication officers Marcy Pfeiffer and Jessica Large for their heroic and life-saving actions. Whereas the manner in which a person responds to an emergency can mean the difference between life and death, and it is consistent with the sense of this legislative body to recognize and commend the heroic life-saving deeds of the citizens of our great county. And whereas a tenet to such duty and fully in accord with its long-standing tradition, it is the intent of this legislative body to convey its gratitude to Marcy Pfeiffer and Jessica Large for their life-saving actions. And whereas early Sunday morning, February 27th, 2022, a significant fire broke out in Troy, and whereas upon receiving the 911 call from an individual who was trapped on the third floor of the building, Communications Officer Margie Pfeiffer instructed the person to get to the window, and she stayed on the phone with him until the fire department arrived and performed the rescue. And whereas, very early in the dispatch, Communications Officer Jessica Large alerted the responding units that were there was an individual trapped and that he could be found at the front window. And whereas, when the fire department arrived, they found heavy smoke coming from the building, but due to the timely dissemination of this vital information, were able to quickly rescue the man, and he drove himself to the hospital. Now therefore be it resolved that the Rensselaer County Legislature pause in its deliberations to acknowledge the outstanding and notable dedication of those individuals who provide exceptional service to the residents of Rensselaer County, and be it further resolved that the clerk of the legislature is hereby directed to transmit a copy of this resolution suitably engrossed to communications officers Marcy Pfeiffer and Jessica Large. I'd like to just say, as a retired fire chief in the county, our dispatchers are probably second to none. They help us in many ways, not only with the safety of the community involved, but even our safety as responding individuals to these calls. I personally have known Jessica her whole entire life. Her father and I are friends, and I was around since her birth. So it makes me very proud to know that she's following in her father's steps, another fire chief that's retired just prior to me, and he's got to be awfully proud of what you do. So, thank you. Along with this, we have 2 pins, Valor pins, that you'll both be presented with for your heroic actions. So, Dan and Ken, please present those. Does anybody else want to say a couple words, or? Any, would you like
Would
to
you guys
say
like to say something?
anything? You're on the radio all the time.
You're used to speaking, right?
Thank you.
This goes to show you the dedicated staff that we have working here in Rensselaer County. They're just amazing, and it's an honor for us to recognize them tonight. So thank you. Thank you for coming. Our next resolution is P 17722. This is a resolution in memoriam of William J. Fortin. We ask his wife, Crystal, and any family members who would like to join us on the floor. And this is a resolution presented by legislators Harrington, Consal, and Maloney. Hi, thank you for coming.
Okay, we're here to have a memoriam from William Fortin, one of Troy's old-time famous barbers in Troy, then Pulling Avenue. So I'll read off this resolution. It is customary for the legislative body to pay honor and respect to persons who have a great impact and influence on the citizens of this country during their time in this earth. Remembered with deep respect the admiration and life of the individual with singular example of enriched the lives of the family, friends, and fellow citizens. And whereas attendant to such duty and fully to accord with this long-standing tradition is the intent of the legislative body to express sincere sorrow upon the death of William J. Fortin, which has occurred on Thursday, the 10th day of March, year 2022. Whereas William was born in Cohoes, the son of late Louis A. Fortin and Cecile Supernant Fortin. He resided most of his life in Troy and attended Vincentian Institute and was a graduate of Keavy Memorial Academy. In 1961, William graduated from the Royal Academy in Schenectady as a licensed barber. Whereas Bill worked as a barber for 60 years, beginning his career at the Caruso Salon in downtown Troy. Is that part of Louis Caruso's area, or no? Oh, Colarusso. It says Caruso here. All right, salon in downtown Troy, and then it was in the Hendrick Hudson Hotel. Bill opened his own shop on Walker Avenue in Troy and later moved to Pawling Avenue. Whereas in his spare time, Bill enjoyed paddle boarding with his dog, Lucille. That's right?
Yes.
All right. Whereas Bill will be missed by his wife of 13 years, Crystal, and his children, Tara, Matt, Tia, Paul, Peter, and Phil. His grandchildren, Kaya, Vita, Mark, and Adam, and his grandchildren, Logan and Connor, and his 2 brothers, Louise, Marilyn, and Ronald and Fran. He was predeceased by his first wife, Maureen Watcher Fortin, and therefore be resolved that this members of the Rensselaer County Legislature to pause in its deliberations in memory of William J. Fortin and extend our deepest sympathy to his family, fully confident that his contributions to this community will live on to serve this legacy to all and to be further that this clerk of the legislature hereby directed to transmit a copy of this resolution so that we can growth to the family of William J. Fortin. So I'd just like to say I'm an honor to be up here doing this for Mr. Fortin. I'm sure he had a hell of a career, met a lot of people, and probably actually told a lot of stories and heard a lot of stories, being a farmer. You know, my mother was a beautician her whole life. You know, we had a shop in our store, and, you know, you get to know a lot of the gossip that goes on in the neighborhood, So we do have some resolutions that are going to pass out to everybody here, but would anybody like to say a few words at all? Anybody care? Want to say a couple words?
I just want to
Come
say
on, go up
thank
here.
you.
Go up here.
I just want to say thank you so much for honoring Bill.
Okay, thank you very
It's
much.
okay. Everybody knows you, Dan.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Our next resolution is P 17822. This is a resolution in memoriam of Michael Laporto, and I'd ask all of the Laporto family and friends to please come down. This is a presentation by legislators Grimm, Doran, Fleming, Nichols, Weaver, and Zaluski.
Right here, just stand right here. Okay. Okay, this is a resolution in memory of Michael Laporto, and whereas it is customary for this legislative body to pay honor and respect to persons who have had a great impact and influence on the citizens of this county during their time here on earth. We remember with deep respect and admiration the life of an individual whose singular example enriched the lives of his family, friends, and fellow citizens. And whereas attendant to such duty and fully in accord with its long-standing tradition, it is the intent of this legislative body to express sincere sorrow upon the death of Michael Laporto, which occurred on Thursday, the 24th day of February, in the year of 2022. And whereas respected and admired by all, it is the collective sense of this legislative body that the life of Michael Laporto be memorialized and eulogized. And whereas Michael Laporto was born on February 12, 1952, in Santa Caterina, Villahermosa, Sicily, to Carmelo Laporto and Francesca Nicosia. And whereas Michael followed his brother Salvatore, who had arrived a year earlier in the United States on July 7th, 1970, to start a new life in America with only $15 in his pocket. Michael immediately started working several jobs, from construction work to disco instructor to hair salon owner, and to pizzeria worker. He also worked in many restaurants across the country. And whereas Michael learned to cook with his grandmother and went on to earn his culinary degree at Purdue University, in addition to attending culinary schools in Italy. And whereas Michael eventually became a restaurateur and in 1985 opened Michael Anthony's, followed by Michael Anthony's 2, which became Laporto's on the lake in Lake George. A catering business followed in 1987, which he operated with his brother. In 1996, he opened the Sign of the Tree in the Empire State Plaza. And in 1991, Laporto's Restaurant and Cafe in downtown Troy, which is still in operation today. And whereas Michael was a certified executive chef and president of the American Chef Association, he was honored as Chef of the Year in 1995 and hosted numerous Escoffier dinners. He cooked for celebrities, including for Julia Child's retirement dinner with many in attendance, held at the famous Waldorf Astoria in New York City. He hosted Martin Scorsese in his own restaurant here in Troy, as well as many other celebrities and politicians. He was a guest of the White House as he made ornaments for the Christmas tree during the Clinton administration. Michael was inducted into the National Academy of Chefs in 1997, was a two-time host of the prestigious Chaîne de Rôtissiers, and was the winner of over 24 gold, silver, and bronze ACF medals. Michael created a popular event called Cuisine Magic, which helped raise millions of dollars for Eddie visiting nurses. And whereas in 2009, Michael was elected to the Troy City Council for one term as an at-large member, representing the working families and the Democratic parties. And whereas Michael was a Kokukaran karate black belt, loved to watch and play soccer, foraged mushrooms, played cards with family and friends, enjoyed hunting, and loved gardening and planting many fruit and lemon trees. And whereas Michael loved sitting in front of the restaurant with friends and family, smoking a cigar, drinking espresso, entertaining customers, he made everyone who walked by feel like part of the family. But most of all, he loved to help others, especially those in need. And whereas Michael is survived by his beloved wife of 36 years, Lena Lombardi Laporto, daughters Francesca, Zachary Laporto, Brandau, Lydia Laporto, grandsons Giovanni and Giuliano, siblings Salvatore, Antoinette Laporto of Averill Park, Rosetta Laporto, and Graziella Laporto, Ralph Corvino of Italy, his uncle Michael Gravazzi Nicosia of California, and his sister-in-law Anna Charles Hunt, as well as many nieces and nephews and extended family and friends. And whereas Michael will be greatly missed by his family and friends, as well as our community as a whole, now therefore be it resolved that the members of this Rensselaer County Legislature adjourn this meeting in memory of Michael Laporto and extend our deepest sympathy to his family, fully confident that his contributions to this community will live on to serve as a legacy to all. I knew Michael personally. I think many of us did here. And I would be remiss not to say Michael was a bit of a character. But there are certain things in this resolution that really define him. He had a great impact and influence on the citizens. That was not by mistake, that was planned. He was that kind of a person. And, you know, also where the greatest gift he gave was his help, especially to people in need and to the love of his family. So Michael might have been a character, but he was certainly a man of character. And that's what I admired most about him. And I'm delighted tonight to present this to his family on behalf of the legislature. I want to thank them all for coming. Is there anyone else that would like to say a few words?
Yeah, I'll say something.
Okay, great.
just want to say thank you. Thank you to Carol, Peter, Ken, Nina, Mark, and Cynthia for bringing this resolution forward to honor the life of my father. My father loved the city of Troy, and he loved Rensselaer County as much as he loved his own family. And I want to say that he was an excellent businessman and a friend to everyone that he met, and involved and caring and dedicated, active community member. And he led by example every day. And my father's my role model. And I'm very fortunate to have had a father like that. And my sons are very fortunate to have a grandfather that they can always remember and look up to in his memory as they grow. So just thank you very much for honoring him today. Yes. Yes. This is best friend. In trouble, just like him. Yes. A little bit of trouble.
That's the Karen.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yep. We're gonna do you want to say anything about that?
You want to say something?
He said a lot of bad words.
It's Italian.
I want that legacy for myself. Very good.
Thank you for bringing this forward.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Yes, I do know that. Yes, I do know that. Thank you. Oh, someone's doing a picture? Yeah. Here. Come here, baby. Do you want us to pick up the little guy? Here, you want to hold this? You can hold that for the picture. Here. There you go. Look at the camera right there. Smile. Say a bad word. Don't tempt him. Don't tempt him. He has the same vocabulary.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, don't. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Next, we have a resolution, P 17922. This is a resolution adjourning the April 12th, 2022 legislative meeting in memory of Catherine Conley. I'd like to invite Ryan and Jeff down on the floor with us. And this is a presentation by legislators Hoffman, Fiacco, Bailey, and Grant, and anyone else who'd like to join us. This is a resolution adjourning the April 12th, 2022 legislative meeting in memory of Catherine Conley. Whereas it is customary for this legislative body to pay honor and respect to persons who have had a great impact and influence on the citizens of this county during their time here on earth. We remember with deep respect and admiration the life of an individual whose singular example enriched the lives of her family, friends, fellow citizens, And whereas attendant to such duty and fully in accord with its long-standing tradition, it is the intent of this legislative body to express our sincerest sorrow upon the death of Catherine Ann Conley, which occurred on Saturday, the 19th day of March, 2022. Whereas Katie was born in Troy and attended St. Jude's the Apostle Elementary School, Catholic Central High School, and was a graduate of Siena College. And whereas Katie served the residents of Rensselaer County for decades, dedicating her entire life to public service while providing personal attention to the town of North Greenbush residents as town clerk. Whereas, as a great supporter of our veterans, what gave Katie great pride in her public life was serving as chair of the annual Memorial Day Parade, ensuring that our veterans were remembered with great respect and admiration for the sacrifices that they made to our country. From inviting marching bands and various fire companies from neighboring towns, the annual Memorial Day Parade in North Greenbush was the event in North Greenbush, and it was because of one person, Katie Conley. And whereas each year during the morning ceremonies of Memorial Day, Katie was there very early in the morning to ensure the somber morning wreath-laying ceremonies at each monument in town was ready, with a new American flag to be flown and freshly made red, white, and blue wreaths that were ready to be placed by members of the fire department, ambulance, town board, religious organizations, and our veterans as we would watch the firing of the volley and listen to taps being played. And whereas Katie organized our annual Easter egg hunt as an active member of the town's youth committee, providing the children of North Greenbush a day filled with treats, Easter baskets, games, and prizes, but most importantly, made childhood memories that would last a lifetime. And whereas Katie was the daughter of the late Tom and Doreen Conley and always talked about happy she was to follow in her mother's footsteps. She shared her political expertise with her brother Tom and loved her nephew Tom. There was nothing more important to Katie than being a mother to her son Ryan, and she always made it known how proud she was of him. Always by her side, her fiance Jeff was there to be her greatest supporter, her caregiver, friend, and the love of her life. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this legislative body pause in its deliberations to respectfully recognize the amazing life and service of Katie Conley and to adjourn the April legislative meeting in her name, fully confident that her contributions to this community will live on to serve as a legacy to all. And be it further resolved that the clerk of the legislature is hereby directed to transmit a copy of this resolution suitably engrossed to Katie Ann Conley. As you know, Katie has served as town clerk in North Greenbush for many, many years. Katie loved her residents, and it was surprising she knew most of them by their first name. As I had mentioned, she was the organizer of the Memorial Day Parade, and I cannot believe that she's not going to be here with us this year. I'm part of that committee, and there's times when we're having questions, what do we do? And we would have been calling Katie for advice. She was very, very dedicated to all of our veterans. She was a political powerhouse, but in a quiet way, unless you knew that you got her mad. She was proud to be a Conley, and after a long, courageous battle with cancer, Katie finally came to rest in the funeral home where the Conley family had made so many others feel better and took such gentle care of their families. Jeff, who was her constant companion, friend, fiance, and caregiver, you were always there for Katie. When things got difficult, sometimes it was difficult for Katie to walk, Jeff would be at town hall to help her, to go to meetings to ensure that she never missed an event. And finally, I want to say that Katie loved being a mom. She was so proud of you, Ryan. She spoke of you so many times when you were little. You would be in the office when she was at work. From your time at LaSalle, she was so proud of you, especially when you got accepted into the pharmacy program. She could not have been more proud of you. And I want to say thank you to you and to Jeff for sharing her with us for so many years. I'd like to invite any of our other legislators who'd like to say a couple of words about Katie. Leon?
I'll talk, yep. I don't know where Kelly got the kind part out of Katie. She sometimes was, she was pretty tough when she had to be. I was in town government with Kelly for 10 years, and even though I was appointed by the town board and everything, I answered to Katie. She knew what she was talking about, too. She had it all down. Great friends of the family. We had a long time. She's a good woman, and I campaigned with her many, many times. She's I miss her. You know, I'm sure you guys do too. It's part of life, I guess. But anyways, yeah, she was a good person, and I just wanted to say a couple words that I reflect back. I remember, and like I said, she was a tiger when she needed to be. All right.
Tom, you want to say a couple words?
Please, thank you. I got to know Katie relatively late. When I ran for the county legislature in 2017, I was a council person in East Greenbush and didn't really know a lot of the ins and outs regarding East Greenbush politics. Kelly referenced how Katie is and was a political powerhouse in North Greenbush. And Kelly suggested to me when I first announced that I run that the person I should touch base with to learn about North Greenbush was Katie Connolly. And so I met with Katie frequently, and Katie gave me kind of a list of people that I should talk to and get their advice. More importantly, she gave me another list of people that I should talk to and not listen to their advice. So I thank Katie for her help in the past. Ryan and Jeff, I mean, God bless you both. I mean, you had a wonderful woman that you spent a great deal of time with, and we will all miss her very, very greatly. Thank you so much.
I just wanted to thank everyone for honoring my mother, and in her memory, I know her view of public service. Yes, she was very much an iron fist with a velvet glove, but more than anything, it was small acts in our local communities go far and away more than any huge movements or actions or ideologies can, and I think she embodied that. So thank you very much. She didn't say that for work.
Thank you to all of our legislators who did those presentations tonight. Some of them are very difficult to do, so I appreciate that. Thank you very much. So I don't have my, what time is it? 6, thank you. I don't have my phone with me. So I'd like to call the regular meeting to order at 6:54. This is a regular meeting of the Rensselaer County Legislature. Clerk, could I please call the roll?
Mr. Bailey. Here. Mr. Bendet. Here. Mr. Cassell. Here. Mr. Choquette. Here. Ms. Doran. Present. Mr. Fiacco. Here. Mr. Fleming. Here. Mr. Grant. Present. Mr. Grimm. Here. Mr. Harrington. Present. Mr. Leveridge. Here. Mr. Maloney. Here. Ms. Nichols. Here. Mr. Patiri. Here. Mr. Stahl. Here. Ms. Weaver. Here. Mr. Wysocki. Here. Mr. Zalewski. Here. Chairwoman Hoffman?
Here.
There are 19 present.
Invocation, Mr. Grant.
For those serving in the armed forces and military of our country. Almighty God, we commend to your gracious care and keeping all the men and women of our armed forces at home and abroad. Defend them day by day with your heavenly grace. Strengthen them in their trials and temptations. Give them courage to face the perils which beset them, and grant them a sense of your abiding presence wherever they may be. In Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Pledge of allegiance, Mr. Grimm.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Harrington.
I move that we dispense with the reading of the minutes of the regular meeting of April 12th, 2022, and approve the minutes as printed.
All those in favor? Aye. Okay, we'll get right to the agenda. Presentation of petitions.
On file?
Presentation of communications.
On file?
Reports of commissions.
On file?
Departmental reports.
On file?
Reports of standing committees.
On file?
Local laws.
There's one tonight.
We'll get right to the index. Our first local law, this is going to be a roll call vote.
A local law providing for the implementation of the New York State Real Property Tax Law, Section 485-V as to county taxes, introduced by legislators Grimm, Doran, Fleming, Nichols, Weaver, and Zaluski. On the roll call, Mr. Bailey? Yes. Mr. Bendet? Aye. Mr. Cassell? Aye. Mr. Choquette? Aye. Ms. Doran? Aye. Mr. Fiacco? Mr. Fleming? Yes. Mr. Grant?
Aye.
Mr. Grimm? Yes. Mr. Harrington?
Aye.
Mr. Leverage?
Yes.
Mr. Maloney? Aye. Ms. Nichols? Mr. Patiri?
Yes.
Mr. Stahl? Ms. Weaver?
Yes.
Mr. Wysocki?
Yes.
Mr. Zaluski? Chairwoman Hoffman?
Yes.
18 ayes, 1 no.
Okay, G 18022.
G 18022, resolution amending the 2022 Rensselaer County Adopted Budget, Office of the Rensselaer County Sheriff, introduced by legislators Grant, Maloney, and Weaver.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
19 ayes.
So moved. G 18122.
G 18122, resolution authorizing an agreement with Star Children's Center, Inc., and amending the 2022 Rensselaer County Adopted Budget, Department of Social Services, introduced by legislators Grant, Leverage, and Weaver.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
19 ayes.
So moved. G 18222.
G 18222, resolution authorizing the purchase of public transportation services from the Capital District Transportation Authority, Department of Employment and Training, introduced by legislators Wysocki, Patiri, and Zaluski.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
19 ayes.
So moved. G 18322.
G 18322, resolution authorizing the purchase of computer hardware and software from state contracts, Department of Employment and Training, introduced by legislators Wysocki, Patiri, and Zaluski.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
19 ayes.
So moved. G 18422.
G 18422, resolution authorizing the execution of contracts for highway equipment rental without operator, Highway Department, introduced by legislators Leverage, Grant, Weaver, Harrington, Bailey, and Fleming.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
19 ayes.
So moved. G 18522.
G 18522, resolution authorizing the purchase of highway equipment, Highway Department, introduced by legislators Harrington, Bailey, and Fleming.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
19 ayes.
So moved. G 18622.
G 18622, resolution confirming the appointment of a member to the Rensselaer County Civil Service Commission, introduced by legislators Hoffman, Leverage, and Bailey.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
19 ayes.
So moved. G 18722.
G 18722, resolution authorizing contract with Color City Auctions, Inc. for real property tax auction services, Bureau of Finance, introduced by legislators Bailey, Hoffman, and Grimm.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
19 ayes.
So moved. G 18822.
G 18822, resolution authorizing and directing the Rensselaer County Chief Fiscal Officer to correct the city of Rensselaer tax rolls for various years, Bureau of Finance, introduced by legislators Bailey, Hoffman, and Grimm.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
19 ayes.
So moved. G 18922.
G 18922, resolution authorizing a contract for banking services with TD Bank, Bureau of Finance, introduced by legislators Bailey, Hoffman, and Grimm.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
19 ayes.
So moved. G 19022.
G 19022, resolution authorizing an agreement with the Country Club of Troy Unified Family Services Youth Services, introduced by legislators Leverage, Grant, Weaver, Harrington, Bailey, and Fleming.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
19 ayes.
So moved. G 19122.
G 19122, resolution authorizing the purchase of furniture from the for the Rensselaer County Emergency Services Training Complex, Bureau of Public Safety, introduced by legislators Grant, Maloney, and Weaver.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
19 ayes.
So moved. G 19222.
G 19222, resolution amending the 2022 Rensselaer County Adopted Budget, Department of Health, introduced by legislators Bendeck, Stahl, and Doran.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
19 ayes.
So moved. G 19322.
G 19322, resolution authorizing extending a staff position and amending the 2022 Rensselaer County Adopted Budget, Department of Health, introduced by legislators Bendet, Stahl, and Doran.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
19 ayes.
So moved. G 19422.
G 19422, resolution amending grant funding timeframe extension for the New York State Department of Health for ELC school reopening grant, COVID-19 response activities, Department of Health, introduced by legislators Leverage, Grant, Weaver, Bendeck, Stahl, and Doran.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
19 ayes.
So moved. G 19522.
G 19522, resolution authorizing purchase of COVID-19 testing machines for county school buildings, Department of Health, introduced by legislators Leverage, Grant, Weaver, Bendet, Stahl, and Doran.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
19 ayes.
So moved. G 19622.
G 19622, resolution authorizing the renewal of Barracuda Networks email protection and email gateway defense, Bureau of Research and Information Services, introduced by legislators Bailey, Hoffman, and Grimm.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
19 ayes.
So moved. G 19722.
G 19722, resolution authorizing purchase of vehicle and amending the 2022 Rensselaer County Adopted Budget, Department of Health, introduced by legislators Bendet, Stahl, and Doran.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
19 ayes.
So moved. G 19822.
G 19822, resolution authorizing the expenditure of funds as part of the Household Hazardous Waste Collections Event for 2022 Environmental Management Council, introduced by legislators Cassell, Choquette, and Zaluski.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
19 ayes.
So moved. G 19922.
G 19922, resolution approving contract award for Hudson Valley Community College, HVCC North Expansion, HVCC North Construction Special Inspections, introduced by legislators Leverage, Grant, Weaver, Cassell, Bendet, and Dorn.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
19 ayes.
So moved. G 222.
G 222, resolution approving contract award for Hudson Valley Community College, HVCC North Expansion, HVCC North Construction Plumbing Contractor, introduced by legislators Leverage, Grant, Weaver, Cassell, Bendet, and Doran.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
19 ayes.
So moved. G 20122.
G 20122, resolution approving contract award for Hudson Valley Community College, HVCC North Expansion, HVCC North Construction Mechanical Contractor, introduced by legislators Leverage, Grant, Weaver, Cassell, Bendet, and Doran.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
19 ayes.
So moved. G 20222.
G 20222, resolution approving contract award for Hudson Valley Community College, HVCC North Expansion, HVCC North Construction General Contracting, introduced by legislators Leverage, Grant, Weaver, Cassell, Bendet, and Doran.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
19 ayes.
So moved. G 20322.
G 20322, resolution approving contract award for Hudson Valley Community College, HVCC North Expansion, HVCC North Construction, electrical contractor, introduced by legislators Leverage, Grant, Weaver, Cassell, Bendet, and Doran.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
19 ayes.
So moved. G 20422.
G 20422, resolution amending G 31014, establishing standard workday and reporting for Rensselaer County, introduced by legislators Bailey, Hoffman, and Grimm.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
19 ayes.
So moved. I am asking that we go out of order and call G 2020-022. This is a roll call vote.
G 22022, resolution authorizing the purchase of real property and building and the negotiation, execution, and delivery of agreements and energy performance contracts with Seaman Industry, Inc. for improvements of the building and related lease purchase agreements with Siemens Public, Inc., Bureau of Central Services, introduced by Chairwoman Hoffman. Roll call, Mr. Bailey. Mr. Bendet. Mr. Cassell. Mr. Choquette. Ms. Doran.
Sure.
You know that I've been very vocal about this particular plan of purchasing real property and then bonding it as was stated in G 125 last month. As we talked about, that particular resolution, we believe did not pass by the two-thirds vote majority needed, but yet it was certified in the packet as passing. Now I'm looking at G 22022, and I brought this up in special rules, that we're now authorizing the purchase of the same property again. There's too much confusion here. There's been confusion all along. We've not seen the whole plan. There's not been transparency. And because of that, I cannot vote this. So my answer is no.
Thank you.
Mr. Fiacco.
Yay.
Mr. Fleming.
Yes, I explain my vote quickly. This, they would not work with the agenda. I was also vocal about the process. The content is pretty simple now, I believe, and the process was flawed. I hope our county attorney, I hope us as legislators have learned from it and do better in the future. So we have to get out of this, we have to get out of this lease. Our lease is up, it's expensive, we need a new building, and I'm willing to move on from our mistakes and hopefully that we've learned from them. So I'm going to vote yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Grant.
Aye.
Mr. Grimm.
Madam Chairman, if I may, I'd like to
Mr. Grimm.
reiterate what my colleague, Mrs. Doran, said about the, last month, this was 125, and we had asked on the floor if we could have some time, for a public process to go through with this. We were handed this kind of late. We didn't even have, backup information, on the building itself and whatnot, and we didn't get that. We couldn't table it till this month. Here we are this month with it, but I think when we do something with an expenditure this big in this county, and I said this last month, I think it's very important that, we inform the public, that there be plenty of transparency. And in a process like this, there should be time for the public to come and speak about it. They could also see the plans. Of course, we have not seen any master plan for what we're using this space for. It's a huge building. We also don't know what we're moving out there and what spaces we're going to be using. I hate to think that we are purchasing a building that is too big. Would be an irresponsible move on us. And then also, I'd be remiss without mentioning that last month when this passed, this resolution, and this goes back to the whole process, it passed here on the floor. We talked about this in special meeting. And it wasn't a full body of legislation. It's a 12-6 vote, bonding and the purchase of the property from resolution. We voted on it as a body. The next morning I checked, it was quickly signed and certified and put on public on the website, which then we claimed, we reached out to different people about the fact of the matter of this passing without a majority of the whole, third of the whole, did not have that. And then suddenly the resolution was withdrawn. was approved, but a segment of the bonding was not approved. I expressed my concern with you earlier in special rules. We're a legislative body. When we vote on something here, we need to have a guarantee that what we're voting on is the voice of the people. We voted on something last month. It was signed and certified. It was put online, in fact, to the public. Then it was pulled back, and it was changed. It was changed without the authority of the governing body. It was changed by individuals who had not been elected to the position. And then a new version was put back on, not the version that we voted on this floor. So something was wrong in the process. Something was wrong in the process of purchasing this building. We had no public kind of meetings for this or anything. We have no master plan for it. We don't even know what other properties were considered for this. That I would be curious to what my colleagues representing District 2 think about this building being taken off the tax rolls in their community. And, you know, when we have other buildings that could possibly be retrofitted, even in Troy, on a bus route with sidewalks, that is already a tax exempt building. So because of all of these things, and the lack of clarity, the lack of transparency, and for possibly one of the biggest mistakes we have ever made as a legislative body, letting something change without a vote, I'm going to vote no on this. We still need time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Grimm.
Mr. Harrington?
Aye.
Mr. Leveridge?
Yes.
Mr. Maloney? Ms. Nichols?
Also like to explain my vote, not to repeat all that's been said before, but the legislative process that we went through here was not right. What we voted on last time didn't pass, and the fact that that happened in such a flawed way makes me question all the other things that are happening related to something that was a very large purchase, a movement of services for the county, and we were not getting the kind of information that we asked for, and so I still need to vote no.
Mr.
Thank you.
Patiri? Mr. Stahl? Ms. Weaver? Mr. Wysocki? Mr. Zaluski? Okay.
I think our leaders of our caucus have made points on, I don't repeat that. I'll just say that my experience comes from the city council where there's actually a former mayor, Troy here. And, you know, when the time came to abandon our old city hall building, that was a big deal. We were going to move, possibly move to a new building. And we had public input, we had public meetings for that. And my issue is it just feels like we're not including the public in this effort. So there's a lot of questions, you know, we're posing questions to our leaders and they don't have answers because they're not getting anything. What departments will move to this building, what will not? What does it mean to keep a seat of government, you know, here in the city of Troy versus what can actually be a seat of government? Just a lot of questions. It feels like it's just being moved along too quickly. I do have concerns about the building being taken off the tax rolls. I think folks in Greenbush probably have greater concerns about that. But overall, I just think there should be more public input. I don't think there's anything wrong with moving the process along a little more deliberately and having the public have their say as well. So I'm going to vote no.
Thank you.
Chairwoman Hoffman?
Yes.
That's 14 ayes, 5 opposed.
Okay.
No,
5.
that's 5. Mark voted in favor.
You're clear on your vote? Thank you. No. No. That was the other resolution he voted on. He voted no on the local law. Okay? Everybody understand the vote? No questions? Okay. So moved. Then we will go back to our
G-
order of G 20522.
G 20522, resolution authorizing the bond financing for the purchase and improvements of the real property and building located at 99 Troy Road in the town of East Greenbush, Rensselaer County, New York, Bureau of Central Services, introduced by Chairwoman Hoffman. Again, this is a roll call vote. Mr. Bailey? Mr. Bendet? Mr. Casal? Mr. Choquette? Ms. Doran? Mr. Fiacco? Mr. Fleming? Mr. Grant? Mr. Grimm?
Madam Chairman, if I may,
Yes.
this is the second resolution we're voting on to purchase this building. We, as our certified packet says, we passed a resolution last month to purchase this building at the same cost. Now, we're doing it again. Is it necessary to purchase the building, give two approvals to purchase one building?
As we had discussed in rules, this is a bond resolution. So to address the concerns that your caucus had brought to me and to others, this is exactly why we're trying to address this, to address those concerns that were brought to me by one of your members. This is a bond resolution. That's why it's coming up for a roll call vote.
My question is, I'm still concerned about having to purchase the building.
This resolution is about the bond.
I'm using this as
I understand that, but we just voted on the purchase. Thank you.
Mr. Harrington?
Yeah, I mean, there's some major concern, I understand, as whether part of a resolution is going to be passed and part of it cannot be. We understand, at least on our side here, I don't think I understand.
No.
Maybe there is a concern, whether it's going to pass part of it, not part of it. And these two that passed resolutions are here on the table to correct any maybe questions. And this is solely on the bonding, and if you know the bonding is at least 13 months, then we like 13 months past the resolution last month, so that's what we're trying to do.
Thank you, Mr. Harrington.
Mr. Grimm, I'm just going to revisit your vote. I'm not sure that
You ever said yes?
thank you.
Your no. Thank you.
Mr.
Okay.
Harrington as a yes. Mr. Leverage?
Yes.
Mr. Maloney? Ms. Nichols? Mr. Patiri? Mr. Stahl? Ms. Weaver? Mr. Wysocki? Mr. Zaluski? Chairwoman Hoffman?
Yes.
That is a 14-5. The resolution did pass.
So moved. Thank you. G 20622.
G 20622, resolution authorizing a lease agreement with City Station East LLC and amending 2022 Rensselaer County Adopted Budget Unified Family Services Aging, introduced by legislators Chairwoman Hoffman.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
19 ayes.
So moved. G 20722.
G 20722, resolution authorizing a contract for the purchase of dairy products and eggs, Department of Aging, Sheriff's Department, and Van Rensselaer Manor Nursing Home, Bureau of Central Services, introduced by Chairwoman Hoffman.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
19 ayes.
So moved. G 20822.
G 20822, resolution providing the distribution of mortgage tax, introduced by Chairwoman Hoffman.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
19 ayes.
So moved. P 20922.
P 20922, resolution proclaiming May 1st through the 7th, 2022 as Correctional Officer Week in Rensselaer County, introduced by legislators Grant, Maloney, and the entire legislative body.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
19 ayes.
So moved. P 21022.
P 21022, resolution recognizing May 9th through the 13th, 2022 as Economic Development Week in Rensselaer County, introduced by legislators Bendet, Choquette, and the entire legislative body.
All those in favor? Opposed?
19 ayes.
So moved. P 21122.
P 21122, resolution recognizing May 2022 as National Military Appreciation Month, introduced by legislators Harrington, Cassell, and the entire legislative body.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
19 ayes.
So moved. P 21222.
P 21222, resolution recognizing June 2022 as National Dairy Month, introduced by legislators Harrington, Wysocki, and the entire legislative body.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
19 ayes.
So moved. P 21322.
P 21322, resolution recognizing May 28th, 2022 as National Poppy Day, introduced by legislators Harrington, Casell, and the entire legislative body.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
19 ayes.
So moved. P 21422.
P 21422, resolution recognizing June 2022 as Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder Awareness Month, introduced by legislators Harrington, Casell, and the entire legislative body.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
19 ayes.
So moved. P 21522.
P 21522, resolution recognizing May 21st, 2022 as Armed Forces Day, introduced by legislators Harrington, Casell, and the entire legislative body.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
19 ayes.
So moved. P 21622.
P 21622, resolution recognizing Rosenblum Development Corporation as 2022 Arts Center honoree, introduced by legislators Grimm, Doran, Fleming, Nichols, Weaver, Zaluski, and the entire legislative body.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
19 ayes.
So moved. P 31722.
P 21722, resolution
Oh,
commending
sorry.
the Arts Center of the Capital Region upon the occasion of its 60th anniversary, introduced by legislators Grimm, Doran, Fleming, Nichols, Weaver, Zaluski, and the entire legislative body.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
19 ayes.
So moved. P 21822.
P 21822, resolution celebrating Juneteenth in Rensselaer County, introduced by legislators Grimm, Doran, Fleming, Nichols, Weaver, Zaluski, and the entire legislative body.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
19 ayes.
So moved. P 21922.
P 21922, resolution adjourning the Rensselaer County Legislative Meeting in memory of Marvin L. Wolf, introduced by legislators Doran, Grimm, Fleming, Nichols, Weaver, Zaluski, and the entire legislative body.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
19 ayes.
So moved. G 22122.
G 22122, resolution amending the 2022 Rensselaer County adopted budget, Rensselaer County Store District Number 1, introduced by Chairwoman Hoffman.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
19 ayes.
So moved. Thank you, everyone. Legislator privilege, anyone? If not, I will accept a motion to adjourn. Mr. Leverage, do I have a second? Tom, all those in favor? Aye. Thank you, everyone. Drive safe.